Well, friends, Donald Trump's defense attorney, Todd Blanche, is done cross-examining Michael Cohen. Next up, the prosecutors will conduct their redirect examination of Cohen. What can we expect from the prosecution's redirect? Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, after nearly 14 hours on the witness stand, 14 grueling hours of testimony, the defense is done cross-examining Michael Cohen in Donald Trump's criminal prosecution up in New York. Next up, the prosecutors will conduct their redirect examination of Cohen, and we'll talk in a few minutes about what that might look like. But to be clear, the defense scored some points on cross-examination of Michael Cohen, which is always the way criminal trials tend to play out when you have somebody like Cohen, who was a criminal associate of the defendant, Donald Trump, his co-conspirator, who is on trial, who Michael Cohen flipped against. It is inevitable that the defense will score some points off of a witness like that, a cooperating witness. So it came as no surprise that the defense scored some points. In my opinion, based on the reporting, none of those points will be fatal because there's a mountain of corroboration. There is a mountain of evidence supporting, affirming, backing up the testimony of Michael Cohen. But let's start with the new reporting, and then let's talk a little bit about what we might expect from the prosecution's redirect examination of Cohen. Let's start with this from CBS News. Headline, Trump trial live updates as Michael Cohen faces sharp questioning from defense. And that article begins, the fifth week of Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York is ending as it began, with the former president's ex-lawyer, Michael Cohen, on the stand. Cohen, the key witness in the case against Trump, is facing questioning from Trump's defense attorneys about his record of lying under oath in different cases. Todd Blanche, Trump's lead lawyer, peppered the former lawyer with questions about his conviction for lying to Congress and his admission that he lied to a judge during sentencing for a number of federal crimes in 2018. He also played clips of Cohen talking about Trump last year, around the time Trump was indicted by a grand jury in Manhattan. This quote from Cohen, quote, I truly effing hope this man ends up in prison, Cohen was heard saying in one clip. Quote, you better believe I want this man to go down and rot inside for what he did to my family. So friends, a few things are pretty clear. Michael Cohen told a bunch of lies previously before he flipped on Donald Trump. Michael Cohen really wants Donald Trump held accountable for what he did. After all, he is the bigger criminal fish, right? He committed the crimes, he being Michael Cohen, committed the crimes he committed at the direction of and for the benefit of Donald Trump. And you heard some of the quotes. Michael Cohen really wants Donald Trump to be held accountable for what he did. He really wants Donald Trump to go to prison for what he did. Those things are clear. Those things are beyond dispute. So what might the prosecution's redirect examination of Michael Cohen look like? You know, redirect examination is the time to address any of the points the defense made on cross-examination of the witness. Give the witness an opportunity to explain any answers that the defense might have kind of boxed them into answering yes or no. We all know that sometimes an answer needs an explanation, right? It can't accurately and fully be answered with a yes or no question. You have to explain. On redirect examination, that's the chance for the witness to explain. And yes, it's like playing cleanup, right? You clean up anything that went on in cross-examination that needs to be cleaned up, that needs to be addressed. So what might some of the prosecution's redirect examination of Michael Cohen look like? Might look something like this. Mr. Cohen, you lied many times in the past, isn't that right? Yes, sir. In fact, you admitted in this trial, on both direct examination and cross-examination, that you lied in the past. Yes, sir. In fact, you told some of those lies to Congress, isn't that right? Yes, I did. And you told those lies to Congress while you were under oath, isn't that correct? Yes, sir. Now, who were those lies designed to benefit? Who did they help when you lied to Congress? Donald Trump. Did those lies benefit you? Did they help you? No. Why not? Well, they didn't help me because I got caught lying for Donald Trump and I went to prison for it. Now, Mr. Cohen, what would happen if you lied to this jury in this trial? I would go back to prison. You want to go to prison? No, sir, I do not want to go back to prison. Okay. Now, you said you really want to see Donald Trump held accountable for what he did. Is that right? Yes, sir. In fact, we heard some of the tapes of you saying that you want Donald Trump to go to prison for what he did. Is that right? Yes, sir. So then, let me ask you this, Mr. Cohen. Do you think there's a better chance that Donald Trump will be held accountable for what he did if you tell this jury a whole bunch of lies, or if you tell them only the truth about what Donald Trump did? If I tell them the truth about what Donald Trump did. And over the course of 14 hours or 15 hours, however long you ended up testifying in this trial, is that what you tried to do? Tell this jury the truth about what Donald Trump did? Yes, sir. Now, that is just some of what we might hear on redirect examination by the prosecutors of Michael Cohen. You know, everybody in Michael Cohen's situation, somebody who was committing crimes with the defendant presently on trial, everybody is going to have to admit, if they want to be credited by the jury, that they were committing crimes. They were up to no good. They were doing wrong. They were lying. They were cheating. They were stealing. They were covering up. Yes, they were doing it all, but they were doing it all together with the charged defendant. Or when there's a hierarchy here, right, they might have been doing it at the direction of the bigger criminal fish, Donald Trump. And let's face it, Donald Trump needed a lawyer who was weak, who was malleable, whose morals apparently were not grounded to anything in particular. He needed somebody who was willing to do his dirty work, who was willing to commit crimes in furtherance of what it was Donald Trump wanted and needed. Like coming up with these dirty hush money schemes to hide deeply damaging information, falsify business records to cover up the true nature of the payments, all because Donald Trump wanted to win an election. And he found the right man in Michael Cohen, because Michael Cohen did not have the courage, the morals, the principle to stand up to Donald Trump and say, no, sir, I will not do those things. Of course, if Michael Cohen had, he would be out of job, undoubtedly. But ultimately, Michael Cohen decided to flip and decided to try to make right what he did wrong. He did wrong on behalf of and for the benefit of Donald Trump. So this cross-examination that, yes, led to the defense scoring a few points off Michael Cohen is entirely usual in the setting of a criminal trial that involves a conspiracy between a cooperating witness, somebody who was a criminal associate, a co-conspirator of the bigger criminal fish who is on trial, and that bigger criminal fish, the biggest orange blowfish in this instance, Donald Trump. And friends, I'm quite sure in closings, we'll hear the prosecutors argue well and effectively that they are not the ones who chose Michael Cohen as a witness. Donald Trump chose Michael Cohen as a witness because Michael Cohen is the one that Donald Trump decided to engage, to enlist, to commit these crimes at the direction of and for the benefit of Donald Trump. Michael Cohen didn't win any elections by engaging in this criminal scheme. Donald Trump won an election by engaging in this criminal scheme, by gaining unfair advantage in the 2016 presidential election. You know, the jurors will undoubtedly bring their common sense to bear on the evidence that they've heard. I always told my jurors that it seems the defense attorneys are asking you to check your common sense at the courtroom door. No, you bring it into the courtroom with you, you bring it into the jury box, you bring it back in the deliberation room because it's the most important tool you have to assess whether Donald Trump, the one who benefited from these crimes, the one who engaged in the encounters and the relationships with these women, the one who recognized the need to cover them up because he wanted to salvage his own election prospects, and the one who won office, the one who concretely benefited from this criminal scheme, and who wrote the fraudulent checks to reimburse Michael Cohen for not legal fees, as Donald Trump would have you believe, but to reimburse Michael Cohen for making these hush money payments by taking out a home equity line of credit on his own house to help his boss, Donald Trump, get elected. You don't check your common sense at the door. You bring it into the courtroom with you, and you know, beyond all doubt, that's not the standard, it's simply beyond a reasonable doubt, but you know beyond all doubt, Donald Trump is the one who benefited from this criminal scheme. He's the only one. You know, pretty much everybody else, including Michael Cohen, has had to pay the price for what they did for Donald Trump, and now it's time for Donald Trump to pay the price. It's time for him to be held accountable for the crimes he committed. Because justice matters. Friends, we'll keep up with how the redirect examination plays out on Monday, and of course we will cover the closing arguments and the jury deliberations and the all-important verdict, which I remain confident the jury will get right. And friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.